And the major stock markets in Asia closed higher today amid positive sentiment on the U.S.-China trade sentiment. The Shenzhen Composite gained 1.87% to finish its trading day at 1,389.68. The Shanghai Composite recovered from earlier losses to close 1.84%. Meanwhile, Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index gained more than 1%. Japan's Nikkei 225 extended gains from the previous session, rising 1.34%, while the Topix Index advanced 1.06%. South Korea's Kospi also gained 0.5%. The ASX 200 in Australia, on the other hand, slipped 0.25%. And in the U.S., stock index futures were higher, with market participants hopeful that Chinese and U.S. trade authorities will reach an agreement. At around 2:18 a.m. Eastern Time, Dow Jones Industrial Average futures rose 108 points, indicating a positive open of more than 112 points. Futures on the S&P and Nasdaq were also seen slightly higher. Investors continue to follow news out of U.S.-China trade talks. President Donald Trump suggested on Tuesday that he might be open to postpone the current deadline of early March so that both sides can reach a deal. In corporate news, Teva Pharma and Cedar Firm are among the major companies expected to report their latest quarterly results before the opening bell. AIG, Cisco Systems, and SVBMK are all due to publish earnings after market close. On the data front, there will be CPI numbers out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and the monthly federal budget will be out at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, away from the equities markets and back here in Africa. On Friday last week, Airtel Kenya signed an agreement with Telkom Kenya to merge operations subject to regulatory approvals, with the new entity expected to operate as Airtel-Telkom. The deal means shareholders of the two companies will agree to merge their respective mobile enterprise and carrier services businesses in Kenya to operate under a joint venture company. Joining us now to look at this deal is an analyst and the CEO, Rich Management Limited, Kenya, Mr. Ali Khan Sachu, joining us from Nairobi. Good afternoon, Mr. Sachu. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
It's a pleasure.
Now, as an analyst, what do you make of this deal signed by Airtel and Telkom?
So I think, the overarching macro consideration is that Airtel is looking to IPO its Africa business, and ahead of that IPO is seeking to fatten up the Africa business. And this was an opportunity for Airtel, which had not been successful, frankly, in Kenya because of the very fierce competition from Safaricom, to merge with Airtel, to merge with Telkom Kenya and bulk up the business. When you look at the granularity around the merger, however, it looks as if both companies will retain separate offerings in the market, and Airtel will hold on to its backbone and its real estate, which are very valuable pieces of the equation. So I think the aim here is to bulk up Airtel ahead of an IPO, and this was a relatively easy fit. It had been on the horizon for quite a while, and I think once they got the money from Qatar a couple of weeks ago, they felt confident that they should push ahead with this transaction.
Now, Safaricom, over time, seems to have dominated the Kenyan telecom sector. Do you see this marriage or the planned marriage between these two telecom companies spurring up serious competition with Safaricom?
Safaricom has been uniquely successful. People are studying it from Harvard Business School to wherever else you care to mention. It's been a dynamic business. And I think the lessons in Safaricom are, one, they bet on Africa, in particular Kenya, of course, and they kept on doubling down on that bet. They connected the average person. There was a 5 shilling, which is 5 US cents, a scratch card that they introduced many years ago. And that is a symptom of their ability to understand the mass market. I think it's going to be difficult for Airtel and Telkom to differentiate themselves sufficiently and to compete effectively because Safaricom is such a fierce competitor. But obviously, it gives them more of an opportunity to compete. But are they going to roll over Safaricom? Hardly.
Anyway, this deal, of course, is subject to regulatory and shareholders' approval. Do you see them getting this approval anytime soon?
Yes, I do. I think, there's been this whole background issue around Safaricom being a dominant player. This stops all that noise. I think the regulator will be keen to have an entity which is stronger than two smaller entities are not able to compete. We've seen a tremendous amount of M&A activity. Telecom is one sector, banking has been another, and I don't see the regulator seeking to stand in the way of what is a logical commercial merger and decision.
Now, are we likely to see such mergers and acquisition in the Kenyan telecom sector in future?
Well, I don't think we're going to see it in Kenya next, because I think this will be the final piece in the jigsaw. Where we're likely to see activity is in the expansion, the geographical expansion of M-Pesa, the mobile money network, into other parts of Africa. I mean, it is a compelling product. It improves the bottom of the pyramid, and it's been tested and tried. And I suspect that there is an imminent extension. Where it will be, I mean, shareholders will be hoping for Ethiopia, because that is such a big market and such a big opportunity. But, keep an eye out on the extension of M-Pesa into other African countries. I believe something should be imminent on that front.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Sachu. Mr. Ali Khan Sachu is an analyst and the CEO of Rich Management Limited in Kenya. And Ugandans will now be able to buy government securities through a mobile money platform in a move by the East African country to become less dependent on commercial banks and institutional investors for its funding. The measure, which was approved at a cabinet meeting, would boost savings and investment among ordinary Ugandans, as well as driving economic growth. Ugandans with mobile money accounts, many of whom had limited access to banks, will now be able to directly buy government debt. The move follows a similar move by Kenya in 2017 and will also open the market up to Uganda's diasporas. Mobile money allows subscribers to transfer money and make payment for services and products via their mobile phones, and has developed rapidly in Africa, where it is now widely used. Well, we'll take a break, and when we return, we'll look at the latest development in South Africa. Do stay with us.